Now that I have the flame and the fireball, it's time to composite them with the original footage that was recorded. I'm going to come over to the World button and click on that. I'm going to select Horizon Color, and I'm going to run the green value all the way up to 1.0 and the red and the blue down to 0. This will give me a green background to my CGI effects, which I can remove in the compositor. Going over to the Screen Layout menu, I'm going to click on that and select Compositing. I'm going to turn on Use Nodes by clicking on the checkbox. I'm going to put the render layer over here. This is the CGI that we're producing, and composite is the final result that we're going to put in our movie. I'm going to put that over here. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a matte keying node. I'm going to drag it until it overlaps the line between the other two, and then I'm going to click, and it's automatically going to connect it. I'm going to click on the key color, and I'm going to make sure the blue and the red are all the way down and the green is all the way up, so that the keying will remove the green background we just created. Now I'm going to add an input of type movie clip. Since it's been loaded for our background and our tracking, I don't have to click open. I can just click on the menu and press enter, and I've got the original movie clip. This movie was not recorded at the same frame rate or at the same frame size as what we're going to be producing our video at, so I need to fix its size. I'm going to click on Add, Distort, Scale, and I'm going to bring the output of image from the movie clip over to scale by clicking and holding on the yellow dot. It lets me bring out a line, which when I get it over next to the input on scale, it kind of snaps into place, and I can let go with the mouse. Now I'm going to tell the scale that the size I want is the render size, and that produces the proper sized image for compositing with what we're going to be rendering. Now I need to put the two of them together, so I'm going to click on Add, and under Color I'm going to select Alpha Over. I'm going to bring this up and make it overlap the line between keying and composite. Click, and it joins in the line. I'm going to pull the output of the scale up, and I'm going to put it exactly where the keying is connected. And when I do that, the keying will move down to the next slot, which is what I want for my final render. If I press F12 at this point, you'll be able to see that we render the computer graphics, and then the background of the original footage is put in with that. Next, we want to go over to the video editing layout. I'm going to add a movie. From the menu of files here, I'm going to select the original Disney Magic movie, and I'm going to say Add Movie Strip. By default, it comes in at the timeline cursor, which is not at the beginning. So I'm going to tap the G key. I'm going to move this all over until the numbers at the left end say 1. I'm going to click, and then they'll be in the right position. I want my scene to come in at the right place automatically, so I'm going to press and hold the Shift key, tap the left arrow button. The timeline cursor will leap to frame 1. Now if I say Add Scene and select Scene, the scene comes in at the right place and time. If I hold the Control key and roll my scroll wheel back and forth, you'll notice that the scene and the movie all start at the same time. But you'll notice the audio stops before the video of either what I'm rendering or the original stops. That means that we don't have the right frame rate for the video that we're rendering, and we need to make this match up. I'm going to come back to the default screen layout. I'm going to click on the camera button here, which is for the render layers, and where it says frame rate, I'm going to change that to 30 frames per second. I'm going to go back to the video sequence editor here, and you'll note now the end time of the audio and the two videos is the same, which is what we want. Let's go back to default and finish up. I need to tell Blender where to put the video that I want to render. I'm going to type / and final. The / says put this file in the same folder as the blend file that I've been working on. By default, Blender will render to individual frames, individual images for the movie. I don't want that. I want a movie. So I'm going to click on the PNG menu here. I'm going to select H.264 so that I get a movie file output format. Next, I'm going to expand the encoding panel. I'm going to scroll down. By default, the format is AVI. That's probably okay if you're working on a Windows machine. If you're on a Mac or a Linux machine, you may want to set that to MPEG-4. I'm going to come down to audio codec, and where it says none, I'm going to change that to MP3 so that I get audio in my final output. I'm going to scroll back up to the top here, and now I'm ready to click on animation, and Blender will start at the beginning and start rendering the CGI effects and compositing them with the original movie. You'll note that there is no fireball at this stage of the movie, so all we see is a green flash and the original video background. You won't be able to do this, but I'm going to skip forward in time to where the rendering catches up to where the fireball is so that we can see. As you see here, the fireball is being rendered and it is properly tracking the end of my finger. This will produce the final CGI effect movie that we can play on our computers without having to open Blender. This may take a while. Don't despair. Let it run, and soon you will have your very own CGI effects movie that you have created yourself.